Yay! Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Who's Views. Surprise! Here we are again, and I am delighted. Yes, this is an impromptu show put together because yet again, BBC Studios today have Thursday, the 5th of December, 2024, have announced another standard edition Blu-ray release. Now, of course, I get very excited about these because I'm collecting the standard editions. Can't be bothered with the limited edition ones or doing this. I know a lot of you out there are also buying the standard editions, and don't they look good on the shelf? Having just got over the fact that season 2 has just arrived in our grubby little protuberances over the last couple of weeks, we've now heard today from BBC Studios that season 9 is on the way, and I'm so excited. Oh, and also today they sort of mentioned that there was some other Blu-ray and DVD coming from something else, which nobody's interested in, so we're not going to bother about that. So yes, season 9, everybody, this is great, isn't it? It's so exciting. And I wish there was a few people that I knew that had the limited edition box set that can tell me about some of the stuff that's in it. Oh, wait a minute. There is. I've got George and Paul with me at the moment. Hello to you two. Look at him reading his book there.
Hello, I'm just refreshing my memory. I've not seen it for a while. So
the first thing I noticed, the image you put up there, JT, of the cover of the standard edition, they've sorted out Mr. Pertwee's extra finger.
Well, this is the thing here as well. Let's look at this now, because as we say here, we are here to talk about the announcement today that BBC Studios are bringing out, or is bringing out, season 9 on standard Blu-ray. And here it is. This is the cover. And a lot of fans have noticed this since it was announced early this morning. They've corrected the artwork. And I thought, what? Is this true? Because I'd never noticed it on the limited edition. So did he have 6 fingers or something?
Yes. Yeah. On his left hand, he had 5 fingers and a thumb.
Well, he is a Time Lord. Maybe you regrouped. I don't know, but there's the cover. So they've altered that. Apart from that, it's the same, isn't it? Really, it looks the same to me.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lovely cover, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's very striking. It's very purple, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And there he is in that iconic tartan cloak as well.
I love the fact that they do this wonderful. The Doctor either holds a sonic screwdriver or something, but he's got that hypnotic device for Agador, which is lovely in the picture.
And I really like the detail that you can see Agador in the mirror.
Yes, that's lovely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, this is another season I can't wait to get hold of, and I'm so pleased. But it was a shock, guys, this announcement coming today, because I don't think any of us saw this. We had heard rumours there would be a Doctor Who Blu-ray release coming up, and then those rumours sort of, when Blake 7 was announced on its complete series box set, I thought, this has taken up the Doctor Who slot of an announcement, because that's now available right now on the streets as well. Mm-hmm. So, and we had heard there was a limited edition announcement coming. Obviously, it wasn't. It was obviously this one.
Yeah.
So, surprise for us again for seasons. For the standard collection fans, it's exciting because we just had the William Hartnell season 2 last week. And now this one's on the way as well. So let's have a look at this, shall we, everybody? Because, of course, yes, this is season 9 with the mighty Pertwee himself. Doctor Who, The Collection, season 9 standard edition is going to be available from the 3rd of February, 2025 here in the United Kingdom. Recommended retail price of $34.99. And, of course, features the stories Day of the Daleks, The Curse of Peladon, The Sea Devils, The Mutants, and The Time Monster. Woo! Now that's a season. This is going to be, it's going to be weird actually, guys, because I'm going to be just getting over watching season 2 and then jumping into season 9 more or less at the same time. I reckon, this is going to be quite interesting, isn't it? So, wow, can't wait. I can't wait.
It's a lovely set, and like season 2, there's lots of cleaning up the material. It's much sharper. There's a lot of good work on the Pertwee stories. I'm sure George can back me up on that. But there's lots of good restoration done on this one as well, which is great.
The improvement in the, as Paul said, the clarity and the color restoration is very, very noticeable. Particularly on things like the Time Monster. Particularly, I think it's like a huge leap forward, and it is, to all intents and purposes, back up to broadcast standard.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Oh, wow. Oh, look, every time we do one of these shows when there's an announcement, I get even more excited. So the pre-order, of course, got in immediately this afternoon when I got home. I was like, right, there's the pre-order. Bang, take the money. Thank you very much. And can I just say as well, a huge thank you to BBC Studios, who was obviously watching the show. Because every time we do one of these, I plead for more, don't I? To say, can you get us up to date? So this is season 9 when it's released. Everybody will be the 13th standard edition. So we're not that far behind now, where the limited edition ones are.
No.
So come on, in 2025, let's have the other 3, please. Come on, let's have the others. Thanks, BBC Studios. Love you. We've got a lot of people joining us in the chat. Thank you, everybody. Nice to see you all. Forbidden Man amongst them, saying good value for these stories, and also saying great cover. It's not that cover at all. They're all good covers, though. These aren't they? They really see them in HMV and stuff. They stand out. They really stand out. Sheila B in the devotions is with us, saying love John Pertwee. Andy though is saying it's not a very flattering likeness of Pertwee. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. JT, what's the difference, says Paul Rose, between the standard and limited editions? Well, we're going to go through that in this show, Paul, so stay with us, because these two are going to tell us about what those of us who buy the standard editions have got to look forward on this. And I'm going to go through everything with it as well. And Legion of James, who I know he gets the standard editions. Lovely early Christmas present, this series or season 9 pre-order. Let's hope they keep the standards coming pretty quickly. Exactly. Graham says to us, oh, I was just finishing off last night's Time Lash review and this pops up. Hiya all.
Apologies for that one then.
It was a good show though. The Time Lash review was a good one. It was a good one.
Yeah.
What we got, and excuse me, Andy, standard editions for the cheapskates. Let me point out to you, sir, that it was nothing to do with that from my point of view. I saw originally what they were planning to do with the Blu-rays before they got this limited edition thing in their head. And it was always going to be the slimline packaging. And I loved that. It was the original designs for it, which involved title sequences and stuff like that and logos, was gorgeous. And I had my heart set on that. And when they came out with the limited edition, the big box there that Paul's hanging up, holding up, I just thought, I don't like that. It looks ridiculous. I don't like it.
I have to say, John, this is a work of beauty, don't you think? It's absolutely
gorgeous. It is, yes. Yeah. You see, I got locked into the limited editions because the first one, season 12, you know, the moment I saw that was announced and the fact that there was a new in-depth interview with Tom Baker on it, that was it. Like you, JT, I was straight online and pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
And at that time, I don't know if anybody was aware if the BBC had even thought of re-releasing them as standard issues. But by the time the standard issues had started to emerge, you know, I already had 3, maybe 4 of the limited edition ones. So yeah, the die was cast.
I mean, I knew the standard editions were going to come. I didn't realize they were going to take as long as the program they had now, but I knew they were coming because, of course, when they started the standard editions, we were getting them 2 every so often, you know, so we got them 2 by 2 by 2. I preferred them, and also they look nicer on my shelf. You can just see them down the bottom here. I've actually measured them, Paul. I'm able to get all the seasons that they're going to release on that one shelf, so they're going to look.
You've measured them, okay?
I haven't.
Okay.
Pertwee's doing a silly thing. Oh, look, surprise! I'm surprised he can stand up. He's at a Christmas party.
But I mean, if you look at the size of the limited edition boxes and compare that to the equivalent number of DVDs, or before that, the boxy VHS tapes, you know, they still take a hell of a lot less space up on shelves.
I have seen an awful lot of people as well. I mean, at least the 2 formats there, you've got the choice. But I have seen an awful lot of people saying that their limited edition boxes fall to bits.
I've not had that problem with any of the ones I've got.
Yeah, it's a bit concerning, though, isn't it? It's a bit concerning. But listen, thank you to everybody that's joining us. Let's go through a bit more of what they're saying, guys, before we actually look at this wonderful new release that's coming in February. What a way to start off the new year. I'm one of the very few, probably, says Graham, who really rates the last 2 of this wonderful season as much as, if not more than, the first 3.
Do you know, on that one, Graham, I didn't dislike it, but I was never that much of a fan of the Time Monster. And then when I watched it again on the Blu-ray release, and probably the cleanup and the improved clarity and color definition had something to do with it, I was more than pleasantly surprised how much I was enjoying it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Really? That sounds interesting, because I don't rate the Time Monster that highly.
I mean, the chemistry between Roger Delgado and Ingrid Pitt is fantastic. Those two really spark off each other.
Yeah. See, this is what this show's all about. It gets you excited for us standard edition, because they've seen what's coming along in the limited edition. You know, the only benefit is that we might get little tweaks, like with the artwork. Paul Rose, who says they must have used AI in the original cover. I can't see an artist getting too many fingers. We'll move on. Another Paul is with us. Paul Stenterford is with us, saying the omnibus versions of Day of the Daleks and the Sea Devils on this set are actually very good.
Yeah.
The Sea Devils omnibus, I was wallowing in nostalgia because, as I mentioned before, the infant and junior school I went to had a video copy of the omnibus edition of the Sea Devils, which we were always allowed to watch as like an end of term treat. So that one became really firmly embedded in my mind, and to see it again after all these years was just fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we all agree on, don't we, about these things, is they are good value. Whether you're getting the limited edition or the standard edition, superb value for money. Again, they are just so good.
Yeah. Again, think of how much we all paid for the VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Move that, factor in inflation and how much, that money we spent back then is in today's money. Yeah. Add up a season and compare it to what you pay for either the standard or the limited edition. You're right. They are really, really good value for money. Absolutely. And the episodes have never looked better. You've never had as much bonus material. For once the BBC have got it right. Well, 99% right. I've got a couple 99,
of
mine.
Yeah. It's taken them long enough, hasn't it, to be honest? But
yeah. I've got a couple of minor nickels.
Yeah. Sheila B in the devotions saying John Pertwee was so great. He's my doctor. He's just amazing, isn't he? And and in his full stride, of course, in this season. And Randy Batswinger saying, I love the Time Monster. I don't know why so many people dislike it. I don't know. I mean, I'm indifferent to it, RB. If it came on the telly or something like that, I would watch it because it's Doctor Who and it's Pertwee, and I would watch it, and that. But it's not one I go to here. Do you know? It's not a first choice. Yeah. So actually, I'm quite excited, especially now after what you two have said, guys. I'm quite excited to see it on this season 9 Blu-ray box set.
I think whether you like the story or not, I think Delgado is superb in it.
Oh yes,
and I just, even with something not considered a great story, he shines in it beautifully. Really nice. Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice thing to say. It's, I'd like to say thank you to Kirsty and Garbage are in the chat with us as well, welcoming everybody as you come in. Thank you, guys. Lovely to see you, because this was very much come on, we're going to do the usual. This lot are all used to this now. Something's been announced. Let's talk about it, because as you know, when they drop a headline, we're going to talk about it in one format or another. So that's great. And I'd like to say hello and welcome to Who's Views, to the Ark in Space, a Doctor Who podcast. It's lovely to see you. Welcome. Hope everything is all right with you guys over there. I love The Mutants and I cannot wait to get it on Blu-ray. It's an underrated story. I agree. But then I'm biased because I knew the author.
The design of the mutants themselves is fantastic, and the location work in the caves is some of the best location work ever for Doctor Who. It really does look like an alien planet.
Absolutely.
There is a lot to enjoy in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Julianne is here as well. And this is what I wanted to point out as well, because Julianne, again, is sharing my sentiments. How many shows of this ilk when it comes to these Blu-rays have we done now? And I always have the same information for you. And Julianne has pipped me to the post on this one again. But we do have to say another huge congratulations to the BBC Studios team and the independents that put this together. Because as Julianne's pointing out, it's already #1 on the Amazon drama chart. This must be incredible for these guys, because every time they release this on a limited edition Doctor Who, doesn't matter which Doctor, which season, it goes to #1. And then they get a double bite of the cherry when they bring out the standard edition, which then also goes to #1. So right now, as we're speaking right now, at 8:15 here on the 5th of December, I can tell you that on the Amazon charts, Doctor Who is indeed season 9, #1 in the drama DVD and Blu-rays. It's #3 in science fiction DVD and Blu-rays, and it's #4 in the Blu-ray chart. So big it up for them, because that is just amazing.
I actually wonder.
Amazing.
I wonder if the BBC decided to do the standard edition because of when the originals came out, they tended to be sold very quickly. Then you get all these people selling them for exorbitant prices on eBay and places like that. So I wonder if the BBC decided they could cash in on a second lot themselves. That's why they thought about it.
I have to tell you, no, actually, it was always the plan to have the limited edition and then the standard edition to come a couple of years after. It was always in their plan. They're not that daft.
I'm glad they did, though, because I think some of the prices for the limited edition are incredible.
I've seen them. Not just somebody trying to get that amount of money from them, but actually sell at incredibly inflated prices.
Yeah.
You know, people are willing to part with that sort of money for a set. I just find remarkable.
I think I saw season 12 at £180 at one point. It was ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Thank you for everybody that's joining us in the chat. It's lovely to see you all. I really appreciate you joining us as well. I've only got the DVDs, says Graham. Am I still allowed to play? Yes, of course you are. Of course you are. Because you never know, you might get the Blu-rays eventually. You know, that's the whole thing about this. Yeah, and the special edition, says Andy, came out first, so I just collected those. Just wish they were still at their original price. And Carwin is saying to us, I wonder if they are going to redo the Day of the Daleks in the special edition style or just watch the original. Well, the guys will tell us a little bit more about that right now. We'll just this one from Legion of James, because there are lots of great comments coming from you all, everybody. Thank you so much. Standard editions for the better sturdy slimline packaging. I can't stand the flimsy cardboard flip box style, as they just fall apart in my house. That's because it's very warm in your house, isn't it, love? Yes. Let's get on to this then, because yes, we are going to be looking at this now. So this is the standard edition of season 9. As I say, Day of the Daleks, Curse of Peladon, the Sea Devils, the Mutants, and the Time Monster. Let's have a look, guys, at what's on this, and then we can answer that question we had. What's the difference between them? Because I don't see that much of a difference, but you'll know. We have here extensive special features, as it says in the press release. The first one is Making the Time Monster, looking back on the season 9 finale with Katie Manning, John Levine, and more. We've got Michael E. Bryant at the helm, which is a profile of director Michael E. Bryant, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. Then we've got this thing called Location, which is Katie and friends revisiting the filming locations of season 9. So does that tie in with that trailer thing they did?
There's a bit on location, yes,
yes.
Yeah.
The location is one of my favorite features on this box set, where Katie revisits a location from all of the stories, and she meets up with another member of the cast.
No way.
Yeah, and
gosh,
Katie is just you can see the affection that she has for her time in the show. It just pours out of her as she revisits basically a railway bridge and a bit of wasteland for Day of the Daleks, or a set of caves for the mutants.
And she gets to play on the trike again as well.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
That was a shame. I bet she loves that.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, actually. That's a really good idea. So that'd be quite nice to watch that. We've got a profile of stuntman, legendary stuntman to most of us now as well, Stuart Fell, in the Fell Guy. I like that. The Fell Guy. That's good, isn't it? I like that. One of the things, I know this isn't popular with everybody, but one of the things that is very popular with me, and it's the first thing I actually go to when I watch these Blu-rays now, is Behind the Sofa.
Yeah.
So on this particular one, you've got the 5 new episodes of Behind the Sofa with Katie, Peter Davison, Wendy Padbury, Sarah Sutton, Janet Fielding, Sophie Aldred, and director Michael E. Bryant. So I'm looking forward to hearing what. I love it when these people get together and watch stuff. I've just finished watching the season 2 ones, and I love it. I just think it's a great feature.
Yeah. I, like you, JT, really enjoy the Behind the Sofas. On this one in particular, I was a bit annoyed with Peter Davison because he was quite dismissive of John Pertwee's performance and his characterization.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm watching it going, and he's going, oh, he's just reverting to type. He's going to do this. It's all, he's not putting any thought into it. I thought, you're heading for a slap, mate. You really are.
Oh, yeah. Oh no, he's a brave man. I'll give him that. Randy Batswinger at this point is telling us, I always head straight to the long form interviews. It's great how we've all got those little bits. What we go to, isn't it, and what we really like. Paul Richards saying to us, Michael E. Bryant is also interviewed on the Blake 7 disc. He's brilliant. I've just started watching those because I've watched all 13 episodes on the Blake 7 one now. I'm just taking in all the new CGI and the new look and everything like that. And now I've started going to the interviews and everything that's on there as well, but done by the same team. So another what else have we got here? We've got the Blu-ray trailer, which was, they're calling it here, a brand new slice of the classic Doctor Who. So that's the one, I take it, with the baby Sea Devil. And then, as mentioned in the chat, the movie length editions, the special repeat screening of Day of the Daleks and the Sea Devils, which are previously unavailable. That's going to be interesting to see. And then there's something else here, which really, I love these little things. Convention footage, a chance to hear from units Nick Courtney and Richard Franklin, recorded in '86. Now, is that a panopticon?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it might be. I need to check what it says in my booklet here. So.
Yeah, do because I love it because it takes you back to how conventions used to be.
Yeah,
you know, and I like it because it feels like home to me. Who views that might sound really romantic and naff, but that's the era I grew up in, and they were the conventions I grew up with. And to me, that's the convention, not these Comic Con things. They're just Comic Cons. They're not conventions.
It says it's Monster Con 2.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
it doesn't ring any bell at all. But I mean, they were all good ones, whichever word back then. It was also homely, a bit more homespun, wasn't it, back then? We've also got here as well the 5.1 surround and Dolby Atmos sound on the Sea Devils on both the episodic and omnibus edition. Wow. HD photo galleries, audio archive, the info text, the PDF archives, and lots more, which I take it would be everything from the DVDs thrown onto it as well. It's an 8-disc box set, which includes hours of special features previously released on DVD, including the documentaries, the featurettes, the audio commentaries, Day of the Daleks special edition, and more. So that's the special edition for Day of the Daleks, where Nick Briggs came in and did the voices, didn't he? And
that's the one.
I didn't like that.
I did, but I think the original, as good as it is good. But I like this as a novelty. It's fine,
Yeah. What have we got here? Julianne saying to us, naughty, also not that special. Peter Davison dissing the great John Pertwee. Was it done like that though, or was it one of those Doctor things that they do?
I don't know, but to me it came across as he was quite. I mean, I could have been misinterpreting it, and it might have been done in a humorous way. But to me, he seemed to be very dismissive of Pertwee in the role, which I thought was inappropriate to say the least.
What I thought was interesting, he alluded to the fact that Pertwee wasn't very funny in the role, which is you're not watching the same Doctor. There's lovely comic moments he does throughout this season.
Yes.
Did he miss all that? The thing is that when they watch do Behind the Sofa, they don't watch the entire story, do they?
Yeah.
They watch edited highlights. So I think it's unfair for them to judge any of it unless they sit through all the episodes. I know they won't.
I've often wondered about that. They can't possibly because they'd be there for a couple of days at least.
I believe they watch between an hour and 15 minutes worth of edited material. And out of that, they pick out the best bits to make the Behind the Sofa.
I'd make them sit there and watch all of it.
So would I.
I would appreciate
make them work for their feet. Exactly.
John Pertwee was brilliant with handling props in a believable way. The man could do real business, says Carwin. Even though allegedly he never really knew what he was doing. They couldn't get hold of the tech terms. I mean
that bit of business he does with the transmitter on the fort in the Sea Devils when it explodes, when he thinks it's a great invention. That's a lovely piece of comic business, And so, what is Mr. Davison talking about?
It's also the Doctor, though, isn't it? That whole thing.
Yeah.
That's the Doctor. I love that. There in that little scene, a pure Doctor moment. It's great. And we've got Graham saying to us, I used to work 5 minutes away from the rail bridge from Day of the Daleks. There you go. It's now a Doctor Who tourist site. As many people go down there.
There'll be a blue plaque up there for Louis Marks or something.
Except our plaque should be diamond shaped, shouldn't they?
Probably, yeah.
That's that would be good. What else? Lots of you here, so thank you so much for joining us. It's Paul Stenterford saying the convention footage is among my favorite features on these sets. They are brilliant, aren't they? They are fantastic. I love hearing it. It just transports me back, guys, to that.
My all-time favorite bit on this, not to peak too soon, is the exhibition footage from Nationwide from 1972. From the 72 exhibition that Pertwee and all that went to. They're not on it, but you see the exhibition itself and a great shot of the TARDIS console. It's fabulous. Absolutely lovely.
Which was the genesis of the Blackpool exhibition.
It was. It was. It really was. Yeah, it all started there, and again during Pertwee's time here as well. So let's get on to let's get into talking about this as well. So, favorite bits here. We've mentioned location. That sounds really, really good. Let's have a look at this making of the Time Monster. What was this about? I mean, is this a good documentary as well for this? How am I to look forward to this?
Well, Toby Haydock's in that one, so I think if you like Toby Haydock, which I love Toby Haydock,
you do
some great stuff with him in it. So and they have walks round locations for the Time Monster, I think, with the at Cambridge and stuff like that, which is lovely.
Mm-hmm. And Katie features extensively in it, and anything with Katie Manning is always a joy.
It's going to be a hit, isn't it? Really, because we love Katie, don't we? So that it's worth watching just to hear Katie. All right, so that's going to be quite good for that. What are the standout elements of this box set are there for you guys that I have to look forward to then? Because it's another packed one.
Well, I don't repeat ourselves a little bit, but like George, I loved the omnibus edition of the Sea Devils, having loved this story. That's my kind of earliest memory of Doctor Who. So watching that was really fascinating because the edit is hugely different from the six-parter. It's like when we used to watch Genesis and 90 minutes or listen to it on record. It's almost that. It's quite jarring but fascinating to watch. I really enjoyed that,
Yeah.
Can you follow the script though? Can you follow the story?
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. I mean, some of the subplots vanish altogether, but the editing is actually very coherent. I think I'm right in saying back in the day it was the original director who supervised, so Michael E. Bryant supervised the editing on it.
I think so. Yeah.
And also the 5.1 sound mix on both versions, the episodes and the omnibus one, is really, really good. And this is going to be a very odd thing to say, but it really brings Malcolm Clark's incidental music to life. The way it sort of pings around the room and everything.
Yeah.
It really enhances it and adds to the atmosphere of the story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? So I might be able to listen to this in a new light then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that's interesting to know, isn't it? Randy Batswinger, you may think this, but we couldn't possibly comment. At least BC didn't get his hands on it.
Yeah.
Yes. They won't need to do an edit for this story. Then they could just show this.
This is BC, to be fair, which is fine. So.
But I think with the Day of the Daleks and the Sea Devils, the original transmission tapes are long gone. But the scripts, the camera scripts for the omnibus edition still survive, so they were used to recreate them.
That's incredible, isn't it? Really incredible. We've got Sheila B saying to us, Katie is a wee poppet. And Legion of James saying, I've met Katie a couple of times. What an absolute joy she is, and hysterically crazy. She has so many stories. Yeah, I want to hear a bit more about the Liza Minnelli ones. Thank you very much. I want to know what they got up to. Anyone know which sea fault was used, or is that should be Seafort?
Seafort, yeah.
It says Forbidden Man. Yes,
wasn't it the same one that was used in Fury from the Deep?
Yes,
I think it may have been. Yeah.
And it's somewhere between Southampton and the Isle of Wight, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, and they're still there.
Is it a floating hotel now or something like that?
Well, they do visit it, don't they? In one of the documentaries, don't they? Because isn't Fraser Hines and Michael Bryant in that one in the helicopter? They go visit.
Yes, they are. I'm not sure if it's a hotel.
Maybe I get confused. Maybe that's Fury from the Deep because Michael Bryant worked on that as well, didn't he? So I'm getting confused with the animation there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a hotel now, but it wouldn't surprise me because I know they were a few years ago. They were up for sale, weren't they? Because they were in the paper, and I remember thinking that's Doctor Who.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that's because there's a group of them. They were redeveloped, and they either became high-end housing or a luxury hotel or something like that,
or location for a game show called Fort Boyard.
Yes.
With Uncle Tom
hosting that.
Noodle Arms, hello, nice to see you. We've got that. From Paul, it says Jabba the Hutt, the Sea Devils was when he was slimmer.
Declan Holland.
Yeah, it's true. And Noodle Arms, Agador in the mirror is a nice feature on the cover, but the picture of Pertwee is not quite right. We're getting a lot of that. Let's have a look at it. I don't know what you mean. It's. Yeah.
Someone said his eyebrows look a bit odd, but I can't really tell. Really,
he does look a little bit like he's just off a sunbed.
It does.
Well, it probably was,
Is it John?
You can see it's John, definitely.
Yeah, most certainly.
Yeah.
It's been touched up incorrectly, though, if you pardon the expression.
Yeah. It's John doing a Tommy Cooper impression.
Just like that. Yeah. I prefer the picture I've got there of John. Look at that. There he is, striding there, saying, "Yes, okay, direct me if you dare." Yes, absolutely.
He looks fantastic in that costume as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Again, another one of the iconic colours, the purple, the red, the black, just suits him down to a T. And look at those collars.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned before, JT, about his cloak. I always thought the checked ones looked like somebody had draped a blanket over his shoulders, whereas the solid colour ones, I think, are the ones that are really, really definitive. Like that one there, or the Three Doctors version where he has the red smoking jacket and the black bow tie with the black cape. That's just spot on Pertwee.
Yeah.
There's a great picture on the booklet as well, which is very nice from Day of the Daleks.
Oh, hang on. Let's have a look at this. Let's see if we can zoom in on that, please. Here we go. There we are.
That looks rather nice, don't you think? And you've got Pertwee in that lovely burgundy jacket, which is superb, and Katie in that lovely Doris Day style costume she's wearing.
Yes, which she absolutely hated.
Yes. Well, she kept flashing herself, didn't she, to be honest? But that's another story. But,
that wasn't limited to just that costume.
Not to that just costume.
No, not to that costume. I like the way on the booklet as well, it's done that iconic thing of just having part of the Dalek right underneath the viewer there, as it were.
Yes.
No,
so it's the Dalek POV.
Yeah, I quite like that. I think that's really, really good. Because
there's a great series of pictures, JT. I think it's on the photo gallery of those lovely publicity shots of Pertwee doing that with the Dalek and stuff like that. Really, really good stuff. Yeah.
Well, to answer the question we had earlier, what's the difference between the standard and the limited edition? I've now put it down solely to the booklet, because the booklet,
the packaging really is the main difference. I think because you've got in this,
the booklet has more information, Paul, doesn't it?
Yeah, you've got all this. You've got the TARDIS here, and you can open it up, and you get the lovely. I don't know if you get it on the standard edition, but the lovely individual TARDIS sets you get from each season. I don't know if I can hold this open without breaking it. I'll do my best. Mainly because it's made of cardboard. But if you see this inside,
yes, we get those.
The lovely Time Monster set, which is really nice.
Washing up bowls.
Washing up bowls. Yeah. So do you get that in the limited as well then?
Yeah, we get these in the. I'll just show you, because the first one that's come to hand is season 26, as you'll imagine, because of course that's at the very end. So you get the booklet, Paul, there, which is the same one you'll have. But then
is it not a little bit thinner than the one we have?
You do get the TARDIS thing.
Right, the card insert.
Yeah, you do get it. Let me just show you this bit here. Oh, this is bad telly, but you can see at the back it goes right round the wraparound. So we do get it.
This is nicer. I don't know what you think about that, George, but I think this is nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's still in there, so they're not going to waste the art. I'll tell you what I do like about this as well, Who viewers, as well, on each of these. I do like the CGI TARDIS console rooms for each one. I think
they're lovely. Really nice. Yeah.
So big shout out for them doing that, and for whoever puts those together.
One of my favourite ones is from season 10. They've got Hartnell on the scanner from the Three Doctors, which is lovely, doing the content. It's really nice. Yeah.
So this one's the Time Monster then, obviously, because it's that one-off.
Yeah.
One-off console room set.
And John was saying the washing up bowls.
Washing up bowls. The infamous washing up bowls, which a lot of you do have. I know a lot of you do know.
I love it. Yeah.
It's easier to store the standard editions, as Paul. The
back of it's nicer. You've got the TARDIS and the Master's TARDIS in the time vortex from the Time Monster, which is beautiful. I love that.
We get those as well on the.
You get that as well. That is really nice. Yeah.
It's on the top of the box as well. So we've got that. We've also got Paul Stenterford saying, the Seafort from the Sea Devils was converted to a luxury hotel in the 90s before having a revamp around 2015 for private functions. As far as I'm aware, it's now been closed since 2020. Oh,
right. Okay.
What a shame.
Yeah, I remember hearing at one point it did go through a big conversion. I didn't realize it was so long ago, though.
Yeah. We've got Boys and the Toys. And poor Rose saying, my TARDIS is bigger than your TARDIS. That's very much the Doctor and the Master, isn't it?
It certainly is. Yeah.
Oh, what's this one? Killbot Kill is saying the image of Pertwee on the season 9 box set is reversed. Oh, that's why it might look a little bit funny then. You know, that's possibly why he looks a little bit sort of weird. Oh, Forbidden Man is saying how though he looks younger. Well, he does actually, doesn't he? Yeah, he does one. And Graham's saying Fury one is out Kent Way. The Sea Devils one is by the Isle of Wight. There we go.
Oh, there were two separate ones. I always thought it was the same one revisited. Learn something new every day.
You do, don't you? You actually do. Hopefully that's all on these documentaries and stuff. I think so. This is great. Again, thank you to everybody for joining us here. Let us know if you have the limited edition of this, of season 9. Let us know what your favorite parts of the box set is, as George and Paul tell me and everybody else that's just put in the order for the standard Blu-ray today, what we can be expecting and what to look forward to. Mark Greaves has got a question for us, actually. Go on then, Mark. Hi, JT, Paul and George. What's the one piece of memorabilia you'd love to get to Christmas? Well, I'd love Doctor Who back for Christmas, actually, mate. That's well, then you see what.
Yes, that'd be nice. Yeah.
What would you like for? What would you like for Christmas for Doctor Who wise?
I would like the next limited edition set that's maybe coming out anytime soon. That'd be nice. Yeah.
I'd happily settle for 97 missing episodes.
Oh, that's a good one. Good choice.
Yeah. For me, Mark, I've come to the conclusion now that my merchandise collecting days are done because I don't like the new versions at all. I don't like all the crap that they're producing around the new stuff. I mean, why would they buy and support any of that nonsense? So for me, I have a feeling it's all going to be classic stuff now. And I have a feeling once the Blu-rays are done, I think, mind you, I said this with the DVDs. I said, I'll never do Blu-ray. And here I am doing Blu-ray. But what were they going to do after Blu-ray? They tried Laserdisc years ago, didn't they? It didn't work. So what could they do? You know, so I have a feeling that they can't really surprise me that much. And if they do, we'll talk about it on this show, because I think everything's been done. More or less, and done and redone and done and redone and redone. So I think
these sets are definitely the pinnacle of this, isn't it? It really is a real coming together of a great format. Finally, you know.
Yeah, it really is.
And I always think it's phenomenal that, you know, in real terms, was a very economically made, to be screened once, never seen again, a TV series from decades ago is getting this level of detail and this level of attention. And, you know, you compare the season box sets to like things like the Bond Blu-ray releases or, you know, any of the big franchises. And these not only equal them, but stand head and shoulders above them.
Totally. And to tie in with this question that Bill's asking us, what is the price difference between the limited editions and the standard editions? Well, the standard editions, of course, are going to be around for a lot longer. They're going to be there for as long as the Blu-ray format are going to be. There is no plans ever to delete them at this stage as we broadcast on the 5th of December 2024. They're going to be around, whereas the limited editions are limited editions. You've got to buy them and then that's it. They're not reproduced. That's it, done. But it's around about £20 difference between the two. So for example, if this one's $39.99, then it might be around about 59.99 or something like that. Oh, actually, Legion of James has just put it here, $34.99 bill for the standard or $54.99 for the limiteds. Around about that.
You know, I'm sure lots of people do this. I certainly do. If you're buying anything online, before you buy it, just, you know, have a quick web search for any potential discount codes that are out there. When I've pre-ordered the limited edition box sets, I'm not saying it happens every time, but more often than not, I'll find a discount code which will take a $5 off it easily.
Yes, you can do that. So I mean, we always say that it's always available on all the usual stockists. You do have to shop around. You have to, and the same again for this one. But the cheapest I found right now is the one we're reporting here on the show. We've got this from Bill again. Day of the Dalek Special Edition. The extra scenes and the Daleks. It showed that the fans can be directly involved in a positive way. I suppose so. I just have a problem with the fact it's always the same alleged fans. It's part of the clique now that do everything now, isn't it? And I'd like to, you know, I would actually like to hear, no disrespect, really, but I would actually like to hear somebody else have a crack at the Dalek voices now. You know, because he's been doing it for 20 years.
I mean, I think though, whether you like the person or not, I think he's very good at doing the voices. Don't you agree?
I don't think it's a huge talent to be able to do a Dalek voice, to be quite honest.
Well, you do have to play. You do have to act it. You can't just.
I know you have to act it, but I think a lot. I mean, if you look at the guys that go around as the Daleks in the summer around about the United Kingdom, they've got it spot on, and they can improvise. They can be absolutely out of character for a Dalek and be hilarious when the kids are around. You know, I think it's fantastic. but I don't think it's a. I don't know. It's just me. It's just me. I just think there's too many particular fans now controlling this, and I think that's why we're in the state we're in, to be honest. But anyway,
I think the special editions are all very well, like the War Games coming up, as long as the original is still there, left intact and not touched, and you can still see that as well, which you can on this. Day of the Daleks is there in the original form and an omnibus version as well, which is great.
It's interesting that Rick Storm is saying to us here, the next thing will be the entire series sets on flash drives. As we've always
your head.
As we've always said, always get the physical copies, because we do know that some of the box sets have been trimmed or added to or amended in some way as well now, don't we? And actually, Randy Batswing is saying to George, why have the Blu-rays been trimmed? You mentioned they had been a few weeks ago.
The only one I've noticed it on Randy Batswing was season 2, and I can't give a definitive answer as to why. I can only assume in the case of The Chase, it was to tighten it up and take out all the studio errors and say this is how it should have gone out originally. So things like actors waiting for the cues, cameras hurriedly moving out of shot from another camera, and all that sort of stuff. I've been taking it out to sharpen it up, I think. But I mean, if you go back to the if not the DVD, certainly the VHS release of The Chase, it's all there and it's absolutely unedited glory.
Yeah.
And that was mind blowing at the time as well. I never thought, as kids, I'd be able to get to see all these great stories, especially The Chase, which was a mythical thing when I was a kid. You heard the older fans talking about The Chase because they were there, and you just, wow, that sounds great.
A friend of mine had the TV21 record, so I heard that before I got to see any of The Chase, which was lovely. That was nice,
as far as I'm aware, it's not common practice. Certainly, of all the sets I've got, that's the only one that I thought it was noticeable on. I think that's the exception rather than the rule.
We've got, thank you for that question, Randy. Thank you very much. Mark is answering his own question here by saying his best Christmas present would be a brand new production team and a reboot to classic format of multiple episode stories. Again, this ties in with what I keep talking about on headlines and stuff like that. They do all this modern stuff now for their alleged mythical audience, don't they, who can't pay attention. And yet here we are with this standard edition announced today, number 1 in the Amazon charts and in the top 3 for its other 2 charts, and it's the second release, it's the second version. So obviously, if that's all of us, the original fans, or people that just appreciate the original series coming back, I think there must be a few more there as well. And I'm sure some of these youngsters are actually getting into it and just not saying anything because they might get booed or hissed, I don't know. It's just a theory I have. Julianne has also got a theory. These sets are why Doctor Who is still a money spinner for the BBC. It's absolutely nothing to do with RTD2 Who. And I think you are right. And I think they know it, quite frankly.
And they're a bit strapped. That's why they released this one. So, yeah.
Well, listen, of course, this is Who's Views. Thank you for joining us for this very, very impromptu show celebrating the release of Doctor Who, the collection, season 9 on standard Blu-ray. Yes, it's on the way. It was announced today. Again, a very subdued, very subtle, very, oh, by the way, announcement that came through here. But here it is down there. It's available to pre-order for yourselves now. It's going to be available on the 3rd of February 2025 with a recommended retail price of $34.99. Yes, $34.99. Not bad at all for everything we're going through here. It's a treat for all Third Doctor fans. And of course, our biggest Third Doctor fan is the one and only Ian, and he's with us now. Are you excited about this release?
I'm very excited. You can't have enough Pertwee, can you? You just can't.
No, you can't.
It's wonderful. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stories. Great era.
Did you get the limited edition then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Did you do a Bedwear and get 3 copies of the limited edition?
Poor old Bedwear. He's in the chat watching us, on his way to oblivion now because he is at a Christmas party and he's on his. he is watching, and he always gets teased for that. I'm sorry,
he
Bedwear.
Does get stick, doesn't he? He does. He really does.
Listen, George and Paul, we've gone through with everybody what this standard edition has. It is obviously the limited edition and new packaging. So the features are the same, Ian. What were your standout favorites here? Because they've told us a bit of theirs. What are your standout favorites of this season 9 box set?
I think Day of the Daleks.
Right.
It's a special edition, isn't it? And the extra bits that they filmed, the fact that they did it all with the same kind of camera, possibly one of the cameras used on the program, possibly. It's nice to think it, isn't it? But it was the first Target novel I ever bought as well, that story. And so it's got a special place. But it is better with the proper Dalek. I'm not a fan of Nick Briggs generally, but the Dalek voices are decent. Because they are a bit embarrassing in that story, and the new effects and everything else. I think it just makes it how it probably was in the writer's mind, maybe. I'm also very fond of Curse of Peladon.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you have. Yeah.
And coming home tonight feels like I've been climbing up the mountain on Peladon because the gales and the rain's been horrendous. But, I've again soft spot for Peladon generally, but there's so much to love in this.
I mean that lightning in a bottle relationship between John Pertwee and Katie Manning, I don't think it's ever been more evident than in the Curse of Peladon. They are just so in step with each other.
Yeah, completely.
There's one thing to look out for this. We talked about restoration. I think originally they got back the film trims for the bits at Ealing, I think it was, with the fight sequences with Grun. And they are beautifully restored, as far as I remember, as well.
Was it Terry Walsh actually had those?
It may have been, yeah.
And I have to say, in the Curse of Peladon, the waistcoat that John Pertwee wears is just something else in that one.
Oh, I love it! I love that. I'd wear that.
Exactly.
I love it.
He is at the height of his powers, isn't he?
Yes.
He is just.
Yeah,
he hit the ground running anyway, right from Spearhead. But honestly, by this point, he is just cruising.
Oh, it's definitely his show as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
I just want to answer a question that's come up here as well, because I've just looked at this one and it's for Paul Richards. I don't really want to talk about this, and we're not going to dwell on it because this is about season 9. This is about proper Doctor Who. But Paul has asked, I wonder where Disney Who is in the charts, because yes, something else has been released today. Oh no, it's been announced today. It's some sort of Christmas thing that's coming. You can pre-order that now as well. I don't know. But bearing in mind it's pre-order, I can tell you that is at number 10 in the science fiction DVD and Blu-ray charts on Amazon, number 11 in the drama DVD and Blu-ray charts on Amazon, and 18 in the Blu-rays.
I'm surprised how well that's doing at that point. Yeah, that's quite unexpected, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but that won't last. That's the Blu-ray. No. That will not last. And the Blu-rays are cheaper. The DVD is $8.99. The Blu-rays are a couple of pennies extra. And I can tell you that the DVD, hang on, George, the DVD currently in the Amazon charts is 186 in the DVD and Blu-rays, 40 in science fiction, 57 in drama, and 71 in action and adventure.
So it's been absolutely trounced by a reissue of an earlier incarnation of the show, which is now coming up for 50 years old.
Happens all the time, and I can guarantee you that thing will disappear very quickly, because that's the pattern with the modern stuff. Whereas our Doctor Who stays around for a little while. And bearing in mind that they've released, pre-ordered this. This is a great Christmas present. If you've got your birthday or your Christmas coming, or your Christmas, or what was I saying, you've got Christmas coming up, or you've got your birthday coming up in December or January, and somebody says to you, "What do you want for Christmas or your birthday?" Ta-da! You've got this, haven't you? You can say, actually, you can pre-order this for me. Thank you very much, and you get it in February. It's
something I've been sort of. Is season 9 in effect up against itself, because are the original DVD releases still available?
They are, actually. Yes, you can walk into online stores, if that's the phrase, or you can walk into HMV and you can get them, and you can actually still find the Day of the Daleks special edition, because remember it was released twice. And you can get it for around about $8.99, $7.99 now in HMV, for example. But here you have that version as well on this Blu-ray box set. You know, and we do know that season box sets are hugely popular. Doctor Who is proving this now. It's set the standard now for any BBC series, especially. Look at Blake 7 and the huge success with Blake 7. I mean, they're on a roll, this team, at the moment. They've had the limited editions, they've had the standard editions #1. Now they've got Blake 7 entering and staying at #1 for weeks and weeks. Now you've got this coming off the back of that. They're doing well, aren't they? You know, it just shows you classic science fiction from the BBC.
And the BBC will hate them for it.
Oh yeah,
they will. Yeah.
It's not
BBC Wales, you mean?
Yeah. It's just not the message they want to give, is it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and this box set says it, because it goes through, you know, it's got some nice little stories, and the Daleks and Peladon are like that. And of course, you build up, you've got, of course, the one that everybody remembers with the Sea Devils. But it just shows you again, you know, Russell T Davies is trying to be original and expansive and extend this universe and everything, and he's just trying to extend something that he's made absolutely crap. But where's he going for inspiration? Right back to the Sea Devils from this series, you know, and
that's true. That's true.
Derivative to an end. He's got no shame.
I wonder if that's a coincidence it's coming out early on next year with a spin-off coming or not. That's interesting, isn't it?
I think that's probably a coincidence, because you know, we have been moaning. People like me have been moaning, you know, and quite rightly in a sense. Where are the standards? Can you get up to speed with the standards? Can we have another standard? But as I said at the top of the show, this is now going to be the 13th standard Blu-ray release. We're almost up to date with you all now. So if they release the next 3, we're up to next year, which they could do. It's a long year. You know, we could be up to date by that. So that would be really nice, please, BBC Studios.
Because we're only getting 2 limited editions a year, aren't we, at this point? Aren't we?
Yeah, it's as though they're trying to span it all out. There's an interesting point we've got here from Eastland. Eastland, nice to see you. I would rather see the not cleaned up versions of the episodes. It is historical now of its time. So, yeah, I mean, it's a nice point, I think. And if you haven't got the DVDs or the VHS, I suppose, I actually quite like the look of these episodes when they're tidied up a little bit, because it's how they would have been, George, wouldn't it? Really, they would have been clean.
The thing to bear in mind is, you know, without the restoration work, you know, the first generation of VHS releases, you know, the BBC sourced them from, you know, very battered sales prints. You know, and whatever damage, whatever was missing, whatever splices were there, just went straight onto the video. So you weren't actually seeing them as originally released. You were seeing a battle-worn copy, which was better than no copy at all. So to put them back to more what you would have seen on TV as they were broadcast, I think is only a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think you are watching them on televisions that were just a pipe dream in the 1970s. You know, you were watching them on tubes that had only just been capable of showing color for about 3 or 4 years properly commercially. So you would have to watch them as they were originally shown. Then you would have to watch them on the old kit as well.
I was going to say you have to bear in mind that television technology itself has gone on leaps and bounds in the last 2 minutes, never mind in the last 20 years. So to actually put the VHS version or even the DVD version, I mean, I've told the story before. Before the standards start coming out, I went back to watch a Doctor Who from the 70s on my DVD, and it was hurting my eyes because my eyes are all over the shop these days. It was going fuzzy, and I can't make out the colours anymore. I can't make out the. So I'm glad for these.
I remember watching the VHS release of the Time Monster, which was from either an American or colour NSTC master. And like you, JT, I thought, crikey, this is giving me a headache.
Well, I had a camera copy of the Time Monster back in the 80s, which was awful to watch, honestly. I know.
Oh, really?
JT, I paid for these many times, but over and over, I don't care.
That cost him 20 quid.
But to watch it on the Blu-ray back to its proper broadcast standard. You know, the journey these episodes have been on to get them back to the original quality is just fantastic, and the fact that they're still there for us to enjoy is just wonderful. Because I always think, to me, the glass is always half full. Yes, there are 97 missing episodes, but to me, the big point is not why are so many missing, but how come so many have survived.
That's why I look at it as well. And 97. When you look at where we were 30, 40 years ago,
Yeah.
Hello.
Nothing. Yeah.
We've got Dave Harding saying to us here, I view cleaning up the look of these classic stories as a form of film preservation.
Exactly,
Well,
yes.
we are in a sense.
Yeah.
Randy Batswinger saying the cleanups are beautiful. They're very impressive. Paul Rose, remastering with the best technology and elements available is great, but the original unaltered as released versions should always be available, as well as the special editions. Well, certainly here in the UK, there are no plans, as far as I am aware. And if you're watching studios, correct me if I'm wrong, whosviews1@gmail.com. There are no plans to delete the DVDs. They're always going to be around. They're just very, very cheap. And now, of course, you can get a lot of those DVDs in the charity shops as fans take them to the charity shops and then buy the Blu-rays. We've got Bill also saying to us, we now have cinemas in our front rooms. I recall my parents renting from Rediffusion. Lots of good stuff here from you as well, everybody. Thank you so much. And Paul Richards saying to us here as well, classic Who will always succeed because the standard of writing is far superior.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Go on, George.
Well, so I mean, as just mentioned, I remember the first colour TV that my family had when I was a kid, and thinking back then, the quality of the colour picture was nowhere near as natural, lifelike, and vivid as we get today, even on a cheap supermarket TV.
Oh, cool.
But at the time, wow, it's in colour. Wow, it's in really blotchy, oversaturated colour, but it's in colour.
I remember certain things, Blue Peter being like that, where they were still trying to get everything right. Oh, God. Wow. The stories look really sharp on Blu-ray, says Paul Stanford. It's a definite improvement on the DVDs. It absolutely is. And Andy's saying to us, hey, everybody, we still had a black and white telly when this season first aired.
I mean, the other thing to bear in mind is if you put a DVD disc in a Blu-ray player, the Blu-ray player then upscales the DVD.
To the best of its ability, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not to full Blu-ray, Blu-ray high definition.
Yeah.
But there's a marked improvement in the clarity of the picture.
Yeah. Get yourself. Actually, most of them these days are, and they're so fairly cheap now. Blu-ray players, but most of them are decent now. So yeah, I mean, it's worth a try on that particular one as well. Again, lots of comments coming through. Aislinn saying to us, yes, it's a good point. Damaged copies used. Anything we can do to get Doctor Who preserved for whatever this crazy world is heading into, not the new stuff that can just rot that. Put it in a damn.
They can junk that. It's fine.
Yeah, put it in the basement under the fountain at the old donut. That was always leaking. You see, it was always leaking. Put it in there. Nobody wants it. A few people. TARDIS Travels with this thing. I first watched it in black and white back in 1972. There you go. You see. There you go. There's a lot to look forward to on this. I can't believe it. It's a little gift, to be honest, coming so far. So immediately on top of season 2. Here we go. And I've got my fingers crossed, actually, and I'm sure Legion of James and others have as well, that this could be a real start of some standard catch-ups for us next year. I'm really looking forward to this. I can't wait to go through it. And I haven't watched, I'll be honest here, I haven't watched The Time Monster in years.
And if you get the Blu-ray, I think you'll be surprised at but at how much more you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Now, I haven't heard you guys talking about it because, as I say, it's not one of those I would ever go back to. Why is it that stories like The Time Monster, Time Lash, and Time Flight I never go back to? I just
there's one exception. There's a Time Meddler, which is quite good.
Time Meddler, let's avoid stories with time in the future, shall we, everybody? Just in case. Oh, we've got a cheap budget story here. Oh, call it Time something, so they know it's coming. Goodness me. Any other standout favorites for you guys on this box set that I can really look forward to?
Let me think what's on there.
What about the Michael E. Bryant one? Now, this is great for Michael E. Bryant, as we'll point out. He's got this particular one here, the profile of director Michael E. Bryant, and he's just had the interview on the Blake Seven season 1 box set. He's doing well right now, isn't he, Michael? I wonder if there's stories that are the same on all the. Looking out, does anybody know? Has anyone seen both the Blake Seven interview and the season 9 one? Or is it just a profile? Is he actually there talking?
Yeah. Is that Matthew Sweet one, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah.
Is
that Matthew Sweet one? Is it? I can't remember now.
I don't. Just Michael E. Bryant at the helm.
That's one of your Yeah, his boat, isn't it? Yeah. So,
yeah, I could be misremembering, but I don't think there is a Matthew Sweet one on this box set, is there?
no, there's not. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the movie.
It's 2 years since I've seen this, George. I have to say, but
Yeah. Is it 2 years since the original
it
one
must be
came
2
out?
years at least. It has to be at least 18 months. Is it
I
not?
think it is.
We are 2 years behind on the standards on this. This is why we're excited, guys, you see, because we're going to get this at last. I reckon the movie-length editions of Day of the Daleks and the Sea Devils bumped off the actual Matthew Sweet interview. we haven't got enough room, Lav.
Yeah.
No, not enough room, Lav. Save it for the next one, Lav. All right, Lav.
I don't think there's probably anybody, who had a direct connection with season 9 that's still with us. Fitted the bill to do a Matthew Sweet in conversation.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's going to bring a lot of this back. I mean, there was Katie, of course, but hasn't she done one already?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the cine footage from filming of Sea Devils.
Yeah, that's superb.
That's lovely. That's lovely because Pertwee again is in his element because obviously he was a naval man.
Yeah,
and I'm sure wherever he was photographed or everything, there was probably a sack of bits of brass and stuff that he'd nicked just off camera somewhere.
Yeah. If it's not nailed down, he'd have it. Yeah, so.
You could almost see him like scanning around and going, having that.
I shared with,
allegedly, I have to say so. Yeah.
I shared with Paul earlier in the week. Sean Pertwee had posted a picture on Instagram of his dad in, I think, the Korean War. At the time of, and he said, "I don't know much about this, but I do know he nicked a tank." I was quite chuffed because I just posted a comment along the lines of, "Well, it would probably have been a new one then, so it was still shiny, which is why he went for it." And that went down quite well because he liked it, and I was chuffed. So I sent that to Paul. that made my day.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Anything shiny, Pertwee had it away, didn't he?
Oh, well, yeah.
It's a bit of a magpie, wasn't he? Let's be honest, to be fair. Yeah. So.
Hence all the jewellery.
Yeah.
Definitely a man of his time. There's nothing wrong with that, but a man of his time. That's a lovely story, that is, as well. I like that. We've got TARDIS Travel saying to us here, I thought the film bits in the Sea Devil episodes looked much more grainy on the Blu-ray releases.
I'm trying to think. Like I say, it's 2 years ago, so I'm trying to remember.
Probably just sea spray on the lens.
I'd expect the film bits to look fabulous on Blu-ray. Actually, that's why I'm really looking forward to any possible space in the future.
The film sequences look fantastic on Blu-ray if the original film elements survive as film elements. If it's transferred to video,
yes, that's true.
I mean, the likes of Sharda on Blu-ray, because not only the original film sequences survive on film, the original negatives survive as well.
Yeah.
And when they hit the screen, you just go, oh my goodness, look at that. That's fantastic. I mean, certainly Spearhead from Space is the best example of that, because the original negs for all 4 episodes are in the BBC archives and they were mastered from that.
Well, everybody keep your fingers crossed, everybody, that we'll get some news about that in 2025, maybe. Just keep your fingers crossed on that one. I'll tell you something else. SG is with us, guys, and he's reminding me that there's another story with time in, and that's the invasion of time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. 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 Killbot Kill is saying to us here, the best thing about Classic Who was waiting a week on a cliffhanger and trying to work out a plausible escape out of the situation, making us kids use our imagination. Absolutely. And because now they don't have that, could that possibly be why they don't have the attention span, some of these people, again? I don't know. It could be, couldn't it? Graham is also saying to me, you'll enjoy the Time Monster, JT. It's quintessential Pertwee. It's a fab story. I mean, but the memory is cheating a little bit because I haven't watched it in so long. Really looking forward to it on this. I will get to it. I was saying, Ian, at the top of the show, I am currently just started, really, with the season 2 box set.
Okay.
Right, which has come out this very week. So by the time I get through the season 2 standard edition, I'm going to be jumping straight to season 9. You know.
Well, you gave Time Lash 7 out of 10, didn't you? So if you like that, you love the Time Monster.
Yeah. I honestly, I can't wait.
You'll be watching season 2, and your mood will be like this. Then there'll be the Christmas episode like that, and then you'll go straight into season 9. So it'll be,
this is my plan. my plan.
As Paul said, even if you're not a big fan of the Time Monster, it's well worth sitting through just for Roger Delgado, who is just brilliant in it. And
Absolutely.
as I said, the way he and Ingrid Pitt are together, the pair of them are just fantastic as a double act.
Even that bit at the end where he begs for mercy from Kronos is absolutely wonderful. It really is.
I remember that being quite camp.
It is, but it's wonderful. Though,
Ark in Space is saying to us again here, I'm 33 and I actually watch Classic Who over anything over New Who. Thank you, UK Gold in the 90s, for getting me into it. Yeah, thank you, UK Gold. What a godsend you were. I'm still youngish. I do have an attention span. I actually, it's not everybody. I know that Ark in Space. It's not that. It's just these reports that they get saying that, and also certain people like the lot that were fired from Doctor Who magazine off the Time team because of their stupidity. The crystal meths of this world who say, "Oh, we have to speed up Doctor Who." That's where it blooming well started, didn't it? Yeah. And it's certainly an insult to everybody else of that age group who don't and who want to enjoy it. But you're actually proving my point that you've either got season 9 already, or you're going to pre-order season 9, and you're going to enjoy every single minute. Same people are out there. They're just listening to the wrong people all the time. And that's why I don't think these coloured versions edited down to 20 seconds are relevant at all. Absolutely. Just if you're going to do it properly as the 4, the 6, the 10 part or whatever it's going to be, and colour them all so that we, the original fans of this beautiful source material, can enjoy it as well. So thank you. I totally agree. I agree with you.
I'll keep an open mind about the war games until I've seen it. But as far as the Daleks in colour goes, to me, it was bashing a square peg into a round hole.
Oh yeah.
I just hope they have listened, because I have to be honest, George. I've probably judged it already, thinking it's going to be absolute nonsense. We are going to be looking at, by the way, that episode. We're going to be reviewing it, so stay with us. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do. If you have subscribed to the channel, please make sure you're still subscribed, and then keep a tab on our homepage here on the Tube of Who, on Who's Views, because you'll see the shows that we're going to be doing. Some of them are coming now. We've got our Box of Delights review coming next, and there's a few more other things. Headlines is going to be on Sunday, but we've got some other stuff coming around that Christmas period as well, to do with what's going on and what have you. So stay with us and keep an eye on that. And also you can keep an eye on our Instagram, and you can keep an eye on our Facebook page as well, where we'll keep you up to date with what shows are coming and when. But this one was a made-up one, so thank you. I'm absolutely thrilled that everybody's come to join us and they're telling us all about what they think of all this. It's great. Paul Rose is saying to us, I'm all for the remasters, the upgrades or the upscales, just with the original broadcast versions with no edits or extra effects or footage, etc. Totally. I think most of us are on the same page for that, guys, aren't we? You've got to have the original version and then the played around with version.
Definitely,
yeah. Got to keep the original. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why it's interesting to see that they've put these omnibus editions in there, because it does take up a lot of, and what with the Day of the Dalek special edition, and then the 2 omnibus editions. Gosh, there's a hell of a lot of there's a lot of stuff here.
Is it something like 9 discs in this box set?
This was 8 discs.
Yeah.
What value you're getting it for, though, eh?
Yeah.
Well, on the standard edition, that then works out at what? 8, 16, 24, less than £5 a disc, about £4.50 a disc, something like that.
Can't fault that.
You can't, can you really?
The excitement as a child of Sea Devils suddenly appearing on TV, in an omnibus, totally unexpected, just right place, right time, and it was on TV, and such a thrill.
Yeah,
never forget Delgado's face waving as he goes off in the hovercraft.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that lovely music that plays, that kind of jaunty music that plays as he's going, is fantastic.
Yeah.
But Roger Delgado being super suave in his toweling robe,
and his white slip-on shoes as well, beautifully.
Think he's in The Saint or something like that.
Yes.
Inferno, Paladin, and Delgado. Yes. Yeah, you saw it too. Inferno, Paladin, and Delgado upgraded. I'm looking forward to it, says Dalek Lives Matter. The copies I've seen were quite poor. That takes me back to the conventions that are featured in this as well, where you got those grainy, happy times where we all sat in a room
And did we complain? Did we? No, we didn't. No.
Yeah. But we used to take duffel bags or whatever full of sandwiches and a flask because you knew you'd be there for that, and you wouldn't move. You wouldn't move. Who's coming in now? Who's coming in now? It'd be great. Oh, I miss them. Oh, I miss those days. We've also got here from Bill saying to us, "Oh, the Time Monster with the gorgeous Katie Manning looking even more gorgeous."
Yeah, Jojo Grant. Yeah.
Yes.
Jojo Grant. The Time Monster has David Darth Vader Prowse in it too, says Dave Hardy.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that, Dave.
Yes.
I'd forgotten that. Wow.
He was the Minotaur.
He was, wasn't he? I'd completely forgotten. Oh, bless him. Another one we've lost today. Bless him. Oh, and all that stuff he went through as well. God love him. And Delgado is the daddy, says Mark Greaves.
Yeah.
Nothing against Anthony Ainley, but he or any of the others, Jeffrey Beavers, good old Mr. Pratt, and everything else, because they had their merits. Anybody outside of that, I'm sorry, no. But Delgado, my God,
oh yes,
what an actor!
Yeah,
what an actor!
I'm really looking forward to seeing this, to be honest, when it comes to all this and seeing him there and reliving his master. Because again, it's a joy to watch, isn't it? Really,
the whole set's worth it just for the bit from the clangers, isn't it? That's
I mean, I completely agree with Ian. He is the definitive.
Oh, he has, yeah. No, and again, like Ian was saying, no disrespect to Mr. Ainley, who I love to bits, but it's always going to be the first one for us, isn't it? I mean, Delgado, it was his role.
Yeah,
completely.
God
perfectly cast as well, which is wonderful. Yeah.
So, and with Pertwee, magical. So to have Delgado in this series as well. I mean, because looking at actually, Dark Lives Matter. Thank you. The versions I watched suffered from a loss of color bleed. Hopefully, the upgrade has sorted that. And thanks to Paul Thomas Ashworth is joining us again. Thank you so much for your super sticker. I hope you are excited about this. Then this edition of season 9. Have you got this, or did you get the limited edition? Let me know. But thank you for your super sticker. I always appreciate that. I mean, I'm just looking at this cover again and listening to what everybody in the chat's saying, and you've got. You've got the Time Monster represent. Obviously, you've got all the things here, but I'm looking at this. This is actually it's a monster season. I was very surprised that the Ice Warriors aren't here, though.
Well, they are in the Curse of Peladon.
No, but they're not on the cover.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Did they not? Did the Ice Warriors not sell everybody? You've got Alpha Centauri, which I sort of get for the cutesy aspect, but actually, if you had them, they got the Mutt and the Ogrons, the Daleks, the Sea Devils, and if you had an Ice Warrior on there, that would be classic Doctor Who, surely, wouldn't it? Really, to the person passing by, going, "Oh, hang on a minute."
Yeah. But trying to think of it from an artist's point of view, would that then be over-representing one story against the others?
Oh, if you took Alpha Centauri off, I don't know. Yeah.
Is there a bit in it? Maybe you guys can remind me. Is there a bit of the model footage in Curse of Peladon with the TARDIS landing and falling down the mountain is superb. Is there exhibits of footage on that from Ian Scoon's model work, or did I imagine that?
I can't remember.
I can't. It doesn't spring to mind, but I could be wrong.
But you're right. The model sequence is absolutely superb.
Yeah.
It's brilliant because it cuts into it, doesn't it? In that you see it fall, and then you have that where it's close up and you see it falling downwards, and that is just brilliant.
And it looks it's looking good on the Blu-ray as well, is it?
Yeah, and it cuts in so well with the stuff that was shot at Ealing Studios with John Pertwee and Katie Manning.
Yeah.
You can accept that is the full-size police box crashing down the mountainside.
Absolutely.
It's the last appearance as well of the wonderful blow-up photographic roundels, isn't it, as well, which is nice.
Oh, bless them. Yeah. Oh, bless. I wonder what happened to them. Ended up in a skip, I would imagine. Yeah. Barry Letts would say the TARDIS walls were made up of joined-up washing-up bowls, said SG. Famous. And,
maybe they got a job lot from B&Q or something.
Well, isn't the story... Didn't Letts tell... It was either Letts or Uncle Terry that said the... set would have stayed if it had an accident or something, didn't it? My memory's going now.
The new flat to the TARDIS walls, the washing up bowl version, got damaged in storage, didn't they?
It did, didn't they?
Yeah, allegedly Barry Letts hated it, so he probably whacked with a hammer or something.
So it got redesigned again for the Three Doctors.
For the Three Doctors.
went back to very like the original control room.
Yeah, and it's lovely. And then that set is lovely, and then that set stayed for years, didn't it? Or variations on that set stayed for years and years. But it would have been interesting to see what would have happened had the washing up, but maybe more people would have liked it.
Wasn't it a remarkable coincidence that the Master's TARDIS went over to washing up bowls at exactly the same time?
It always is.
Funny that is.
But that became a standard. I mean, look at Planet of Fire.
Yeah.
Same thing. Oh, hang on a minute. This Trial of a Time Lord. This looks strangely like the Doctor, and yet the Master's TARDIS was supposed to be an upgraded model, wasn't it? It was a totally different model.
You never see the stagehand painting it black, do you? Which would be interesting.
Must have taken a while.
What?
It must have taken a while though to constantly.
I always think of those fellas that had to paint the bloody thing and then paint it back to the off-white. I mean, it must have been
black at the other side, and they just turned it round.
Maybe,
maybe that's why in the Keeper of Traken they got one of the old flats and painted it black.
Because in the Keeper of Traken, it was actually the season 14 in the wooden panel one.
You can see part of the stained glass bit coming through.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I love it. That's gonna. No, no. Anyway, Graham's saying I love the last scene of the Time Monster with the naked Benton. Yes. Ooh, and TARDIS Travels saying Day of the Daleks is a classic story, despite the fact there were only 3 Daleks. And remind me actually, because it's a long time since I've seen the special edition. Did they add more in?
They did.
Yeah, they did. I can't remember. So again, I'm going to have to. My goodness, for those of us who are buying the pre-ordering this version, when it comes out in February, we're not going to be here, are we? Because we're going to be too busy watching all the versions of this. You watch the original version, and then you can watch whatever version that comes out. Oh my goodness me!
Just wait to get to season 25, though, JT. That's hard work. I've got 4 versions of Silver Nemesis to get through still. So.
Oh no! I might span that out over the next 20 years. We've got here as well Delgado, the perfect stranger danger guy not to trust for the Forbidden Man, and the kids of the day loved him.
Yeah.
And we forget how big the Master was, wasn't he? So this must have been, as I often say, for the kids of the day watching this live at the time, this must have been a joy when he turns up.
As a sidebar, there's an episode of Randall and Hopkirk Deceased, which Roger Delgado and Nick Courtney appeared in together, and you watch it and it's real alternative universe stuff.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, what's the Brigadier and the Master doing in this?
And then Brian Blessed turns up as well, thinking that.
It's brilliant here. We've also got Dalek Lives Matter saying to us, by the way, I'm mistaking season 7 with 9, so ignore most of my earlier comments. It's easy done, I guess. It's easy done because there's one season's out and about to re-release, and the other one we're all wishing for.
Yeah.
You know what? I think you can only get the kind of Pertwee Doctor, Delgado Master interaction, for want of a better term, because they were such good friends off camera. I think because they were such good friends and had such respect for each other. I think that feeds into the way that they appear on screen, and it just makes it so much better. And you don't see that very often. You know, George, you said with Katie Manning and Pertwee, you know, lightning in a bottle. What would you call Pertwee and Delgado? I mean, that was something else.
Like the same, and you know, like Peter Cushing, Roger Delgado is one of those actors that nobody has ever said a bad word about him. Every time he's mentioned, everybody says what a wonderful, wonderful, lovely man he was.
Yeah. Well, certainly for Barry and Terence, for all those years after at the conventions, praising the man. Oh, he did this, so he did, and they obviously adored him and loved him to bits. It does say a lot, doesn't it? Really? I mean, it's such a shame that we didn't get to meet him. He would have loved those conventions back in the 80s and 90s, wouldn't he? He would have been there, you know. Oh, he would. In fact, he would. You would know for a fact Nathan Turner would have gone straight to Delgado, no matter what his age, and said, "Do you want to come back?"
Yeah.
Wouldn't he? You just know it. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Lost far too soon.
Timeline somewhere, everybody.
Absolutely a complete tragedy, Paul.
Yeah.
We've got here from Graham. I remember first seeing Curse Peladon summer '82 in the Doctor Who and the Monsters repeat season. I was absolutely so thrilled. I mean, that again was you know, a special series, wasn't it? When you watched that Curse of Peladon, you was like, well, this is different. I don't remember this as much, but
Mhm.
enjoying it so much. I was 12 when that was repeated.
It was great. Yeah.
I remember recording it off air and having my own video copy long before BBC put it out on sell-through video, and just watching the tape over and over, and just thinking, John Pertwee and Katie Manning together were just such dynamite. They were just so in sync with each other. I mean, the wonderful, just the little touches like the flaming torch on the wall opening the secret door, and banging Pertwee in the back and his reaction, all that sort of stuff.
There's lovely banter between the two of them as well.
Yes.
When they meet Kempeladon and they talk about crash landing, and the pilot being
was exceedingly inefficient.
Well, yes, it's lovely. Yeah.
Roger is the true master. Everyone else is just a cover version. So Dalek Lives Matter. And hello to Chris Chatfield, who's joining us. Hiya, Chris. The Curse of Peladon is comedy gold, with Zorg and the little Arcturus in his washing machine. Probably as Zanussi, they were reliable in the 70s. It's amazing, that little thing. I just can't get over how Arcturus works for 1970s, early 90s. I just think, well, how clever were they? That looks great.
He looks like a prototype Dalek, though, doesn't he? A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But it's a great piece of design, a costume, whatever you want to call it. It's really well done with that little gooey thing in there, isn't it? Again, at the time, that was Doctor Who for you, wasn't it? It was just like, wow, how did he do that? Wow, I love it. I absolutely love it. So this is it. Absolutely, everybody. As we're saying, we're here to talk about the announcement today from BBC Studios: Doctor Who: The Collection, Season 9, the Standard Edition. Hurrah! It's available to pre-order right now, and it will be in your hands the 3rd of February, 2025. Recommended retail price of $34.99, which I think is a bargain for what we're getting. Huge.
Can I ask a question here? We're comparing the differences between the two. So the question is, George and Ian, could we bought the limited edition? We've paid £20 for the box itself. Then is that what happened?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think the limited editions at the full retail price of £55 still represents very, very good value for money.
Oh yeah, it does.
Oh, absolutely. I think what it actually signifies is that we do not have the mental strength to wait for it.
Yes.
Like JT does.
Yes.
It's too weak. We needed it there and then.
Yeah. FOMO kicks in a big way. If I don't get this now, I'm going to miss out on it. That can't happen.
Well, that's
I often stock the Amazon drivers that's coming down the road. So
that's exactly what they count on, don't they? Really. I mean, I remember when the fuss came out. I did try and tell as many people as possible, saying, "Look at it. It says limited edition. There is another version on the way in the next few years." But people were just so panicked. Oh, we've got to get this now because it's limited edition.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely, it was always going to happen, and it would make sense to do it. And they have proved it, because as we're saying on the show today, huge congratulations, because season 9 pre-orders today, only announced this morning, #1 in the Amazon charts. Huge success. Again,
I could not wait 2 years for it though, GT. 2 years is too long to wait.
Well, Randy Batswinger agrees with you. I can't wait 2 years. Well, it wasn't originally supposed to be 2 years. I mean, there has been changes in their plans, and this is why us as standard Blu-ray collectors now are saying, "Come on, everybody, come on!" So this is why today is a lovely surprise for us, because we weren't expecting this. This is great.
With me, I think it depends on the material, because things like the Blu-ray season box sets, I'll pre-order those as soon as it's announced. But stuff like the animated versions of the missing episodes, I'm quite happy to wait till they come down to a much lower price, and then I'll pick them up then.
Yeah, I'll get them when they're about £1. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. In my head, the best one for me was the Invasion.
Yeah.
And then with the others, I did start to collect.
I mean, I very recently got the Celestial Toy Maker.
Oh, right, yeah.
And what made it worthwhile for me is the reconstruction of the first 3 episodes is actually very, very good.
Right.
They've done a full restoration on episode 4, and again, the difference, the restoration of episode 4 that's on the disc now is fantastic.
Same with Abominable Snowman as well. Part 2 of that is superb. They really cleaned that up beautifully as well.
Oh yeah.
certainly we're getting an awful lot to choose from here, aren't we, Who viewers? So that, you know, if you have the limited editions, fantastic. Fingers crossed there'll be another announcement coming very, very soon as what the next one's going to be. Everyone's got fingers. We've heard the rumors. We know what we're expecting. We know what's coming. It's just waiting for it. Make sure you stay with us here on Who's Views, because as soon as that's announced, we'll be talking about it again, even if it's tomorrow. I'll have to change a few plans, but even if it's tomorrow, it won't be. It won't be. Let's put it right. It's not going to be now. But we'll be here to talk about that. And yes, of course, next time there's another standard Blu-ray coming out, we'll be here to talk about that as well. But there's a lot going on. The only things we're not really going to talk about really are those other things. We sort of mentioned them today. Who cares? What's this from Killbot Kill? Buying the special edition shows your love for the show, and they look awesome next to each other. I think that's the same with the limited edition as well. They all look good, I suppose. But yes, so thank you for that. Listen, I am really excited about this. I can't wait. Huge box set, as they are, put together with thought and love and care, quite unlike the BBC in this particular decade. Really is. Hello, Russ Morgan has just joined us. Hello, Russ. But yeah, it's coming up, and I know that a lot of us will be very, very excited. Once more, as of today, you can pre-order right now Doctor Who The Collection Season 9, the Standard Edition. You can get it now from all your usual retailers. You know where you're going. It's going to be available to buy physically from the 3rd of February 2025, everybody. And it's got a recommended retail price of $34.99. But as the guys have said here, it might be worth you shopping around. But that's the RRP. So
you're in for a treat.
Yes.
I doubt you'll get it in for any less than $34.99 because that's the RRP. But there you go.
It'll certainly be £35 well spent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And how many of us have pre-ordered it already? Quite a lot, because there it is at the top of the tree.
Who would ever have thought in 1972 that 52 years later it would be top of the charts on day one before it's actually physically available to get in your hands? Who would have thought that? I mean, that speaks so much of the classic show, how it was viewed, how it's remembered, and how even on its worst day, it is still streets and streets and streets ahead of any of what we've got now on its best day.
And Mr. Pertwee would be very proud, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, he would be more than happy to scrawl his name right across the front cover of every single copy that was put in front of him. You know,
and enjoy the residuals as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. I hate that photo. Why did they use that one? There are so much better photos than that one.
Yeah.
I've got 6 fingers on that hand.
He would. We know as well. Even at his grand age, he'd do as many tours as he possibly could for this thing, wouldn't he? You know, he'd be out there doing well. He'd be on shows like this, going,
Yeah. Well, if he was still with us, you wouldn't be able to keep him away from the commentaries and behind the sofa and all that.
We'd love it, wouldn't he? We'd love it, but. This is for him and others, of course, because we got Nick in there as well, the wonderful Nick Courtney. I love to bits. He's in there.
Lovely man.
Richard Franklin, of course, John Levine, as well as the lovely Katie, and of course Roger Delgado. What a cast! And there are lots of other people in here. I can't wait for this. I really can't wait. The pre-order is in, and yeah, again, going back to Ian's point, who'd have thought just even a few short years ago that the modern version would be getting slaughtered by something that's 50 odd years old. Had to get that in there. Sorry, everybody.
It's not wrong. Not wrong.
Yes. But to pick up on what Ian just said, to think back in the day, we all thought the only way we would get to enjoy a series after its original transmission would be the Target paperback.
That's right.
We all treasured the Target paperback, and look where we are now. We've all got our own library of every single episode.
Unless you lived in Australia.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Listen, thank you very much for joining us for this little impromptu show, celebrating the fact that season 9 has taken us all by surprise in a lovely way. What a Christmas present, everybody, if you're buying the standard Blu-rays, isn't it? I'm certainly delighted. I can't wait for this one. So get your pre-orders in now if you are buying the standard Blu-rays. Thank you for joining us here on Who's Views. I want to say thank you to George, to Paul, and to Third Doctor Ian for coming on and telling me about your favourite bits on this Blu-ray box set as well. Can't wait. Really excited. Very excited. Counting down the weeks now, guys.
You won't be let down.
No.
You will absolutely love it. You
Yes.
really will.
It's a bit sad though that I'm going to be doing that. Really go. My goodness. Listen, make sure you've liked and subscribed. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for coming in with all your views and your chats as well. We will be back very, very soon with more Who's Views for us. And yes, can't wait to see what you think about all the stories we've got coming up for you in headlines this weekend as well. From George, from Paul, and Third Doctor, and from myself, again, huge thank you. I'm just looking at what he's waving up there. Look at that. He's just like, oh.
Give it a big cuddle. There we go.
Look at that. He's giving it a big cuddle. He's going to take it for a slap-up meal into a discotheque right now after this show. I'm really loving it. We will see you again very soon, everybody. Until then, have a good night, and thanks for joining us. See you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.